I had a friend, and unfortunately he had to close his business down. It was really hard on him mentally. And it was almost like, and you shouldn't feel this way, but it was almost the shame of like, hey guys, like I'm a business owner. This is what I do. And then saying, oh, actually, like I fucked that up. I'm a bit of a failure. I'm going to go and do something else. And not that makes you a failure, but like that actually was a really big motivator for me to continue going, to be honest.
So tell us about your childhood, mate.
This is actually pure vodka, just so we're clear.
Absolutely.
Tell me about my childhood.
Yes.
I grew up in the southeast of Sydney, funnily enough.
Whereabouts?
Yeah.
Coogee, actually southeast.
Oh, okay. So you're actually an
really?
suburbs person.
Yeah.
Isn't that
actually.
what Adrian just said?
Yeah, but he got it wrong though. Yeah.
Is it the east-south?
Is it? I don't even know.
What was botany? Honestly, I don't think
It's
botany
not-
even is an area. You've
it's
got
not.
St George, Eastern Suburbs. You've got
Sure, it's a
Southern
black.
Shire.
It's just a port, really.
It's a vortex.
We love you,
Yeah,
Adrian.
exactly.
Don't hate us.
We're
Please don't
not making any friends around here.
Yeah,
we know that
yeah.
much.
It's like you be careful actually if you mess with a video editor.
I know.
They can-
Exactly. He's so handsome though. Like, why would you want to?
It's the way he edits. So Max, tell me. Hello Social.
Is that a question?
Yeah, that was
Tell me
it.
hello.
that was pretty much it. No,
okay.
I mean, no. Tell me where it's going. Like the whole idea of today is I'm gonna love doing this podcast because now I've got. I was gonna say David and Goliath, but that's not fair, is it?
No.
Because who's
On
who?
Alex. Yeah.
It's like David and David?
Yeah, it's like David. Yeah, sure.
It's like Rocky 1. It's like I've got Apollo Creed and then Rocky Balboa. That's what
Exactly.
I'm going with. They're two great titans going head to head in the social media space here, and I love it. Where do we start? Alex, I'm going to start with you. G'day, mate. How are you?
Good, thanks, Tony. How are you?
Very,
Mate?
very good.
That's something that we always do.
There you go.
That's something that we always
Absolutely.
do. You know what's interesting about today is that probably officially, like, we're competitors, like from the outside.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We both have agencies in Australia.
Yeah.
Fact. Fact.
Yeah.
We both do social media.
Also fact. Yeah.
You do social media very differently to how we do social media, though.
I would imagine so. I don't know what you do exactly, but probably do it. Approach it from different ways as well, I would imagine.
Tell you what,
Maybe.
Max, this
We'll
is a
find
podcast, so we can ask any question we want. So you can find out exactly.
I can also say anything I want.
I know,
so,
but
it's a
you can,
double-edged sword, really.
You can ask Alex whatever you like.
Yeah, you
So
can.
how do you do it?
Show me a P&L, man.
Yeah.
I should have prepared more questions before I arrive. Okay.
Don't worry, they'll come to you.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, they'll come
Here
to
you
you.
go, Max. Just start writing.
Here's
Anything comes to you, just go for it.
No worries.
No, but it is quite exciting. I mean, like Alex, you say you are competitors, but you aren't. How would you differentiate the two businesses?
First of all, I think like in Australia, I think there's this extra attention. Oh, this has made Max uncomfortable.
I would have went down the wrong pipe. So
No, so I think in Australia there's this attitude with the agency owners I've met across the years, where it's like this really closed approach where like I'm quite open. So I just go and I just talk and I share. I don't share my P&L, but I do, share and so on. And then they don't share back. And it's like, and I'm like, why aren't you sharing back? It's like, oh, well, because, we might have the same clients and, like I don't want you to steal our clients. I'm like, wait, that's not how I approach any of this stuff. Like I am focused on our company. Like I'm focusing on us. I'm focused on just expanding us as much as possible.
Yep.
And I met the lovely Max one night and I'm like, hey, cool. So he runs Hello Social. I've heard so much about Hello Social. I've seen their stuff. I like their stuff. I know there's a fair few people like in Webprofits that have shared their memes. That was your social strategy in the past? Was that like a meme thing for marketers?
yeah. I'll go into that in depth later on.
Yeah, because that was like super successful, I would say.
I would say that was one of the things that put Hello Social on the map like very early on.
Yeah.
Really like helped us increase our brand awareness when we really, we were nobodies really. Like we're just a small agency, like 4, 5, 6 people in Sydney, nothing differentiating us from too many other players. And then we did the memes, and that sort of really put us on the map for the first time.
Yeah.
That was many years ago. And
Yeah.
we sort of, built that snowball since then.
How many years ago was that? Because I'm like pretty old now. So I can't tell anymore how long things ago were.
5 maybe?
5 years ago.
Yeah. So Hello Social's been around for 7.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I would say that the difference, and this is, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
I'm so intrigued to hear this, and I'll tell you what I think the difference is, and we can compare notes.
Cool.
And I'll ring a little bell for each round.
Yeah.
So what was that guy's name in Rocky?
Fight.
I'll be Mick, the coach. I'll be coach, all right?
Yeah, great. But like in all seriousness, I think the difference is that from a social perspective, as we use it to scale performance, yeah? And correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems the Hello Social is about the social media campaign strategy and kind of engaging across the brand to provide an experience. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong there.
I would say you hit the nail on the head. I would say, what I would think you guys would be is more bottom of the funnel. It is more about conversion and ROI and all of that. And don't get me wrong, we do have clients that we do that for. We have clients we do that for very well. But I would say 80% of clients are much higher up the funnel.
Yeah.
It's more about content production. It's more about awareness and engagement. I mean, some of our clients, for example, Makita Power Tools that have been around for a very long time, you can't actually buy power tools off their website. You can only buy it through their vendors, their distribution channels. So for them, it's just, we just want, they've already got a very high level of brand awareness. We just want people engaging regularly. So we don't always stay front of mind, build the brand, and there's not like you can't track that with metrics. It's not pure fluff by any stretch of the imagination, but it's the top end, not the pointy end of the bottom.
Yeah. I was also, I see the kind of content which you produce, and it's extremely highly, there's a lot of production value around it.
Yeah.
And I guess I must be seeing kind of the big campaigns on your social media. Like, for example, the Uber campaign, which you just ran for the Melbourne Cup. Was that right?
Yeah.
Like, that's
right.
not the kind of campaign that we would run, and that's why I was kind of assuming your whole...
And in that sense, we are, although within the same space, we are apples and oranges. Yeah. That's the top end, like content, mass reach, impressions, engagement to some extent. Yeah, very different from... what's my ROAS,
What's my ROAS? I want to scale this bad boy.
Yep.
And it's got to go fast and hard.
Yeah.
Well done, gentlemen. Round one. That was fantastic. On the scoreboard that I've got here, I've got Max at 1 and Alex at 1. And
I saw a 0. That's actually a 0 there.
What
mate.
this is it's called the name drop.
Okay. Oh.
It's called the name drop. It's the who was the company that you just dropped? What was it?
Uber. I don't know if you've heard of them.
No.
He said Makita.
Makita.
Oh,
Thank you very
Makita.
much.
Oh, okay.
He dropped that so subtly, like, I just bought a Porsche. Right? One of those subtle, like, Alex, you get a point because you mentioned one of his clients.
Oh.
Okay,
See
cool.
what I mean?
I do that.
Yeah, you name dropped one of his, so that's Uber cool. Right.
Okay.
Hey.
You
10
drop your
points.
own, so we're at 1-1 at the moment. But Max,
Okay.
you know what? You are an amazing human being. I would love to know the journey of how you actually got to Hello Social. What did you do before?
Mm-hmm.
And
Great. So I really hate it when you're at university and they're like, we have a motivational speaker, someone who's really done it, coming in to tell their story. And this guy walks in, he's like, yeah, I drive a Ferrari and I left my job after working there for 8 years and I started my own company. And then 3 years later, I was a multimillionaire. And I'm like, well, fuck, mate, that didn't fucking happen to me. I can tell you that much. I was 3 years in, still fucking eating margarine noodles in the cupboard. So I'll tell you my story. And so I really love telling people the real, true, raw story, because people get 1 year into a business and like, well, I haven't made any money. I've just gone into debt, and I must be doing something wrong because everyone else is doing it so well. And I think of most people that have made it in business, they know how hard it is, and it's always hard. It's not hard 1 year in. It's hard also, 6-7 years in if you want to be doing it properly. So
It's still hard 15 years in, to be clear.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And so I always wanted to be in business. I always wanted to have my own company. My father was a successful businessman, and business was discussed around the dinner table. And he had franchises in Western Sydney, which were quite far between each other. So we spent a lot of time in the car driving between them, and he would say, so Max, I've had this staff member, he's not happy about this. I'm going to tell him that he needs to improve this, and then I'm going to tell him how much of a good job he's doing. And it was always discussed, and so I think it was always expected of me, not in a negative way, but it was always expected that I was going to go into business.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know I always thought I was going to have this big idea. I thought I was going to have like the new Uber or something like that. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I thought, okay, I have to go to uni. Well, I'm 18. I finished high school. I should go to uni. I'll study marketing, because if I can learn how marketing works, then at least when I have my big idea, I'll know how to get customers. Everything else will sort itself out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to just create a lot of things and end up I figured out how to do marketing without being able to create my own software giant.
Yeah.
There you go. So, finished uni and finished at uni. Didn't finish uni. There's a difference. My most highest qualification is my.
How far did you go?
I went there for a while. Went there for like 3 or 4 years, and then I left with no qualification. And
you were studying marketing?
Yep. And I think I just had to finish off one sort of paper at the end, which I didn't do. And I always said
disgraceful.
And I always said to myself, I was like, I'm only going here for the education, not necessarily for the qualification, which in hindsight was fucking stupid. But anyway, it is what it is. So I only have
for one paper at the end.
Exactly. So I only have like one. I only have I only have my high school diploma essentially. Which is quite ironic. So then I went and I was trying to get a job in marketing, but no one would hire me because I didn't have any experience in marketing. It's always so hard to get your first job, isn't it? It's like, for your entry level job, we want someone with 1 to 2 years experience, which is so silly in hindsight. But now I'm on the other side of the table, literally, in interviews, and I'm like, well, I can, for an entry level wage, there are people out there that have 1 or 2 years of experience, and it would be a poor choice for me as a shareholder in this company to hire someone with no experience when you can get someone with 1 year for basically a similar salary, unfortunately. So I ended up getting, I thought, what differentiates me from other marketers? And it was the fact that I did do promotions on MySpace back in the day. So like nightclub promotions and like running events.
Is that what you did in the start?
That's what I did whilst I was at university.
Okay, so you were like, look, I've done marketing. I've been marketing MySpace events.
Exactly. I know all this stuff. So this was literally like HTML code on MySpace. And then
those flashy backgrounds?
They called me Mr. Flashy Background back in the day. Yeah, that was my jam. So I then went and got a job because I did know about Facebook and I was studying it so much at home. Got a job in a digital marketing agency doing their social media. I worked there for like 9 months, and I messaged a friend of mine who's a successful businessman, and I said, all I need. I didn't even mean anything by it. I said, all I need to start my own agency is a website, a graphic designer, and an office. And he replied, said, I can get you those things. And so that's how Hello Social initially was started 7.5 years ago.
And is he a partner in the business? Is that what his part of it was?
He was at the beginning, and he was a part of the business and helped me get it on its feet in those early days. Yeah. And then now he is a shareholder.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the best investment ever, like a website, some space in an office. And what was the third thing?
A graphic designer.
A graphic designer.
Which I think he already had one. So I was like, okay, you get like 30% of their time.
That's great.
So, sort of wrapping up my point, the first 6 months, I think we did literally like $3,500 revenue.
Yeah.
And obviously absolutely nothing. I had no idea.
For lots and lots of hours of work.
For lots and hours of work, 50 hours a week. And then, setting up the company and all that sort of jazz. And then we got some more clients and it's gone.
And he's pointing up and down and down.
Yeah, sorry. This is a podcast. It's gone up and down. Yeah, it was just so hard during those early days, and I look at all these other agencies that start up and they stop after a few months when it gets hard, when they can't pay their bills, and I get it. I would just, my advice would be persevere through. It's not going to happen overnight, but if you're selling the right thing, you're doing good work, you put the hard work in, it will happen.
And how long did it take until you started to actually to get a proper wage out of it?
It was.
How many years, months?
It was about a year until I could get I was on $36,000 a year for like 2 years.
And that's after the first year?
That's after the first year. Yeah. And I had staff that were on 75, 80 and I was on 36 and I had no money. And I could have left and gone and gotten a job for 80, 90, maybe. But yeah, I just stayed true, and yeah,
Were you
it
tempted?
picked up eventually.
You
You know what? I actually wasn't really tempted. I think for me, the hardest thing would have been like saying, I had a friend, and unfortunately he had to close his business down. It was really hard on him mentally. And it was almost like, and you shouldn't feel this way, but it was almost the shame of like, hey guys, like I'm a business owner. This is what I do. And then saying, oh, actually, like I fucked that up. I'm a bit of a failure. I'm going to go and do something else. And not that makes you a failure, but like that actually was a really big motivator for me to continue going, to be honest.
Well, it sort of makes sense because your dad is a business owner as well. And did he own many franchises or a franchise? What was it?
He owned multiple, it was just one company, but it was multiple franchises of that company.
Okay, so
Yeah.
was there also pressure from dad as well to succeed? In the back of your mind, maybe?
Yeah, there was. There was definitely like, oh, this, honestly, he was saying you should be a bit more advanced than this right now.
Right, wow,
Yeah.
which is quite, it's like, I think of it.
Is that
like,
what he said to you, by the way?
Yeah.
Wow, that's extra pressure.
Yeah.
Far out. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well.
Well, it's like the elite athlete having a kid and going, you should really excel in this sport as well.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen, and then God knows what. So you persevered, and Dad said that to you. Do you still have a relationship with your father at the moment?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we're very close. And I get it myself. Like I look at my little brother, and I'm like, and he was helping me with something the other day, and I was like, you should be better at that, at this. And I was like, Max, shut up, don't say that. Like you should know better. And so I think, people look at things maybe who have been there and done that, maybe don't realize what they were like at 24.
I also think we do take on like a lot of kind of how our parents have done things, and the good parts and the bad parts, and that's like, it sounds like that you're kind of treating like your brother like your father treated you kind of thing. Like, and I see myself all the time, like, that's what my mum does.
Yeah.
I hate that about my mum. I'm doing that stuff now, and I really don't like it.
And it's so good when you can look at that in yourself and go, okay, I'm going to change that. That's not okay.
Yeah, cool. So then, how did you get your first initial clients that actually paid you proper money? Not the ones that made you $3,500. The ones afterwards where you could actually start to kind of hire people. Yeah, what was your initial approach? The
initial approach. So
that worked.
Yeah. So I think we were spending a lot of money on Google AdWords in the beginning, approaching burning cash on that, and the quality of leads that you get when your company doesn't have a portfolio, you're probably fighting on price. And the quality of clients you're getting from Google AdWords in that setup for us were really, really not fantastic clients. But and that's the thing. That's where Hello Social has actually come from. It has come from working with small businesses and working with small budgets. That had $1,000 Facebook advertising per month, and we had to make that work. I actually think there's a lot of merit in really working with those small businesses, because you do learn how to make the cookie stretch for those people. Yeah. So
it makes you a better marketer for sure.
100%.
You need to get it right with not much budget.
Yeah. Exactly. You're boosting something for like $10, $15. You're like, come on, please work. Oh wait,
they
we
need
have to do
7
a better post
leads
next
for
time.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, so I think we ran for a while and we were doing good work, and then we got referred like a few big clients, and then we worked really hard and we delivered on that.
You got referred?
Referred. So
from who?
I think I went to a few networking events, met a few people, and you got to realize when I'm talking 2012, 2013.
This is just when Facebook started.
This is the early days, like a social media agency. Oh, there's like 2 of those, like it was just me and this other guy to fight it out. But so we did get referred some good clients, some big brands, and then we did do good work for them. And then I remember one of the big turning points was I had an intern who came to work at Hello Social, and they did he was a bit older, and I was like, why are you doing an internship? And he was amazing. And then he went and got a job at a big company, and I was like, and I realized how good he was actually, and he was so humble, just did the work. And an amazing job. And he was really grateful that was his first job in Australia. I helped him get a bit of a resume, helped him get that job. And then he came back to us and said, I did good work when I was with you. I'd like to employ you guys. And it was a $14,500 retainer. And so $14,500 to a small business, that's fucking 2 staff members, like that was, and then that consistent revenue just off that was for 12 months. And that really allowed us to then scale and get some more staff. And it's often, that tipping point of what actually helps you get there. And it's not one tipping point and then you're off forever. Like, I feel there's many tipping points that you have over the years.
And so how did you scale from that point? Because so now you've got the one client, or that is paying you that much money, let's say.
Yeah.
And a bunch of small ones, right? But then you scaled. Yes. How did you scale from that point,
Yeah, I think it was, I wish I had like a magic story around what it was, but I think from then it was just, grinding, just working really hard. And I think that's so generic, but it just allowed me to hire a couple more staff, which allowed me to probably have a bit more time doing business development.
And so you did the business dev.
Oh, yeah. I did the business dev until like 5
sales?
years.
Yes, so sales is the business dev?
Yes. Oh, yes. And so that's a really good point. And I'll dive into that more. But I was responding to the inbound leads.
Where were the inbound leads coming from?
Very good question. I think I invested in SEO from day one. I shared an office with an SEO gentleman who was amazing at SEO named Dennis Koo. He was brilliant, and he taught me very much the foundations of Google AdWords and SEO.
Mm-hmm.
And I invested in SEO from day one, and I would say our SEO is fucking brilliant, really, if I'm being honest with you.
Still now?
Still now.
Yeah.
100%. We do 2 blog posts a week. We're very, very big on inbound marketing. And we probably rank very highly for most relevant keywords, if not first.
Yeah, great. So you really don't like search ads?
Oh, I do like...
because I saw you advertising quite a bit. Is that like just
so,
kind of after now there's all the money coming in? Now you're like, I want more of the pie now.
Oh.
Right? That's because just like some background, I mean, that's kind of like how we started as well. Like we were trying to pay money for Google Ads. In fact, like in the very start, we actually did a pamphlet drop. And I'm like, this is before, right? I'm like, wait a minute. We have a digital agency.
Alex, some people won't know what a pamphlet drop is. The younger people, we might have to explain that.
No,
it comes on this thing called paper.
It doesn't need to be explained at all, right? But it's not on the internet.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm selling this service. Why don't I use that service for us? Like this is after about like a month after I had folded like 9,000 envelopes because we didn't have much money. So I'm like, and my tongue was like, it wasn't good. I was like, I should have got the sticker ones. Not the ones we had to lick.
I won't even go there. You didn't get the sticker ones.
No, I didn't get the sticker.
Come on, man. It would have been an extra 2 cents an envelope or something.
I didn't have to get a sponge. Anyway,
that's
it was
right.
bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
So then I started AdWords, right? And then we were like, cool. We spent all this money and we got a client paying us $300 a month. Mm-hmm. And we just over-serviced them. It just went nowhere. And we didn't get any referrals as a result. And we have started to kind of invest in some SEO stuff. This is like back in 2006, back when it was the Wild West, let's call it. And then all of a sudden, we started to rank at the top of Google, like number 1 for everything.
Yep.
All the keywords, all the pages. And it was like, and all of a sudden we started to get phone calls. Like, where the hell are these phone calls coming from? What's up? And that was because of our rankings, right? And so this is like, it's that kind of lasted for about 5 years, right? And that kind of supported like a lot of the early growth until we had like enough money to really spend on acquiring other customers. I think like in the agency space, it's really hard to acquire a customer. Like it's really hard to pay money on advertising to acquire a customer. Yeah, like especially as a startup that doesn't have the brand, that doesn't have the portfolio, that doesn't have all the things, but just has this hunger and has this idea and wants to start. There's so many agencies now. Like there's just like in every area, right? And so it's a similar thing. Yeah, so we had this kind of thing that helped us scale in the beginning, and I think that's harder these days. I think it's harder for companies like these days
to
start an agency.
Sure. Yeah, 100%.
Definitely more competitive. Yeah, okay, cool. And so when did the memes start?
I think it was...
and just explain the memes, just for people
like
that
me.
Haven't heard it. Like Tony for sure hasn't heard it. I don't know if Adrian's heard it.
I know what it means, but I got no idea.
Yeah. Not what the word meme means.
Like... Go for it.
Oh, no. Explain. Should we explain what meme means?
No. Please, Max, over to you.
Okay, cool.
Round 3.
So basically, so Hello Social every Wednesday at about 5:30ish produces and posts a social media or a marketing related meme. So it's a joke. We never offend anyone. Definitely have in the past. Have I gotten angry client emails about it? Maybe. And so so many years ago, I posted like a fucking tip, like, make sure you find out the best time of day to post for your Facebook page. And I was like, this is so generic. Everyone knows this shit. Like, no one's interested in this piece of content. No one. I'm posting for posting's sake, which, especially in a pay-to-play market that we're in today, you have to pay for people to see your content on social media. You shouldn't just be posting for no reason. So I thought, God, like, I would like to think of myself, believe it or not, as a funny human being. And I was like, you know what? I reckon I could try like a marketing joke. And I thought, okay, let's give it a crack. And I think I did one, and it got a bunch of likes. I was like, oh, okay.
What was the joke?
Fucked if I know.
Oh, come on, Max.
I should go through the archives.
Go through it.
I should do it.
For your next podcast, when you talk about this, you should be like, it was this. Wait, that was a horrible one. The next one.
I should get it like tattooed on me somewhere. Yeah. Like
but it landed, right? Like, you got a response.
It got enough of a response to me, like, okay, that's all right. I can do that again. And so I think next Wednesday I did a few. And then there was this really funny guy called Matt McCaffrey in the office. Very funny bloke. And I think I handed it over to him. And then he did some of the ones that broke 1,000 likes for the first time, then 2,000 likes. And it started.
And that's organically, or was that paid? Was it a combination?
It would be a combination, but I don't think the budget was like that
huge.
High.
Yeah, for sure.
Like maybe $50 or something or less.
Yeah, wow.
And then we just sort of became quite known for that. And the funny thing was, I remember I used to do the community management for it. Like, we used to try and be like funny and witty, which is very hard for me, of course. And so I remember this one time this guy goes, "Oh, you're promoting this. You're boosting this meme. Huh, how stupid that you're boosting a meme." And I was like, and I replied to him, I was like, get your calendar out, note down the date when you said it's stupid to boost a meme, and let's have this chat in 5 years. And I,
have you gone back to that post?
I haven't.
Go back.
I've got a large to-do list after.
No, that's just for vengeance.
I should. It's like, g'day, Tim. Remember me? I'm back.
Tim 64389.
Yeah, exactly. And so that really started to grow the reputation of Hello Social. All of a sudden, people knew who we were. So I've gone from like no awareness to like, actually there's something mildly unique about that. And you can't just, in marketing, you can't just be funny. You have to have you can't just be funny. You have to have a reason for them to actually make a purchase. And so, although we are quite well known for our memes, I would like to think we're well known for our content as well. We do now 2 blog posts per week, and there's like, it's in my opinion quite good content, as opposed to, fluffy, unstructured, not real tangible points you can take away. It's actually like, this is how to write an Instagram bio. Like, do this. Like, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So it's the fun balanced out with the, real, like the actual substance.
Are you still doing the funny stuff these days?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, you are?
Oh, mate, that is.
Has it changed over the years in terms of like the performance, or how much you have to pay, or kind of like what it looks like?
Okay.
Like if there's something that can be shared or not?
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
Completely. So a lot of marketers are going to think that I'm stupid for saying this, but there is a really big shift in terms of social media and Facebook away from just trying to get engagement. And they're saying now that you should be more top of the funnel. So trying to get, try and reach a lot of people, but the right people, reach a lot of people, and then get a lot of impressions with those people. So it's a high frequency. They've seen your content a lot of times, and then try and drive other actually actionable metrics, such as landing page views and website traffic and video views, and then obviously conversions. So we used to we used to boost the posts for engagement, and we were trying to get, we had a benchmark, and now we've started boosting the posts. Not that we click the boost button, just so we're clear.
Yeah, I was like, please, thank you for confirming that. Yes. Founder of social media agency with massive clients.
Yes, I use the term generic.
So what we do is we just go in and we hit the boost button, and somehow it works.
It's science. So now we've changed our strategy to focus more on reach and frequency. But anyway, that's actually not working. So we're switching back to engagement. But I think for most companies, they should be doing that. Long story short, cost per engagement has gone up quite a lot over time. Although, costs are across Facebook are going up. As
Yeah.
of course they are.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's really interesting. And so, how much did that have an impact on your growth? That kind of, because I think at the beginning you said you started at the time you had 5 staff, and then you started the memes, and then things happened after that. You know.
And I think slowly but surely, we went up to about 16 staff, and I think people knew who we were. So I would say I have this notion in my head that there'll be a marketing team, and especially a few years ago, social media was seen at the bottom, not too important, and it comes last. Like you decide your strategy, and then you hand out some, okay, go find the social media agency. Like it's bottom of the pile stuff. Yeah. And so the most junior person in the team, they'd say, go and find some social media agencies. And then they do a Google search and they go, oh, I know Hello Social. They do the funny memes. And that just got us a foot in the door.
That got you a foot in the door, yeah. And I think that's kind of the importance of the brand. I think that it's such a competitive space now across the board that, it's not enough just to say, hey, I do this thing. It's actually say, hey, I know this company. That's first. And then, of course, they do that thing as well, And I think with the amount of agencies out there, it'd be hard to really stand out these days to create that brand when you're having to struggle to make a profit from the really small sale value and then trying to expand it. Because I know a few people that have started a couple of agencies and they stopped after a couple of years. It's it must be so hard these days to start it and to scale it, you know. So I don't know how they would approach it these days.
Yeah, and it's
how would you approach it if you had to start again today? I
would try and do something that's really unique, and I mean, that sounds obvious, but
no, that's not obvious at all. I think what people do is they go out and they go, okay, I'm going to cold call.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to launch some ads.
Yeah, no.
That's not unique, but I think that's the standard thinking. So what would be unique?
If I had to start it again, I would try and do like a PR stunt, just so that we'd get our name on the map. Other agencies, I won't throw shade at anyone on the podcast.
Yeah, please, because there's a lot of agencies that actually will listen to this,
Yeah, of course. So other agencies have tried doing the meme thing, and I don't think there's enough room in the market for. There's not enough room in the market for 2 people doing memes, just so we're clear. We own meme space now in marketing. But I think it hasn't worked. So I think, trying to be really different, trying to have a unique brand, like you always should, something that actually makes you different. What would I do? I would probably, again, try to do something funny. I love how they do marketing in New Zealand. They always just try and cut through with some humor. And I think the Australian market has so much to learn from
dry
that.
humor over there, isn't it?
Yeah, I even love when you catch Air New Zealand flights, the in-flight entertainment, the information, and it's got the All Blacks on there. And they take the mickey out of themselves so well.
Yes, it's so
good. It works. Yeah. You like humor a lot. You actually say, and you use that as your draw card. Why do you think humor works in the realm of marketing?
So I think it's, there's so much out there that is boring and dry and factual. And, how you get a message across to someone is you make them feel something. And when you make someone laugh, it's a strong feeling, Yeah. And I think it just gets a lot of cut through because not many ads in marketing. I mean, if we look at the campaign from Uber with Kim Kardashian that came out a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Could you explain it quickly?
So it's a comment. Oh God, I'm going to get in trouble for this one. So it's definitely it's live, but I can't remember so there's Kim Kardashian, and then I can't remember. It's Magna Sabansky. I can't remember which character she's playing. It's from Kath and Kim.
Yeah,
I can't remember the lady's name.
Yeah.
And they're having a conversation. It's and she's teaching her how to say noise. And it's just hilarious. It's incredible. And everyone's looking at that. Everyone's sharing it. And everyone's going, that is so funny. So they're actually engaging with it by laughing.
Yeah, great.
And so, in a dry, boring market, make people laugh, I reckon. But, I mean, that's not good. You can't be a law firm and be like, come to Crazy Kev's law firm,
But why can't you? I think even more so for a law firm or something like that to actually take the mickey out of it or make it more human. And bring a funny aspect to it. I think that would be cutting edge.
I do agree with you, but I don't think it's going to. We wouldn't. Obviously,
I wouldn't want to pitch it to them.
I think.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting to point out, is that that strategy kind of fits with Max, right? Like he's
100%.
funny. That's his attitude. That's his style. Like he only wants clients probably who connect with the fact that that's funny. Like if they're too serious, it depends on the client, of course.
Yeah.
But that's okay as well. I think for law firms, I think I don't know how many of the funny lawyers there are out there. Is that a thing? You know, I think if there was a funny lawyer, maybe they could do it, but I don't think they could try to make it funny.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So, for example, here, right, like at Webprofits, that's not my style. So if I try to be funny, because that's going to get the cut through, it's not going to be as good as someone who's actually funny. There's some funny people here now.
I think you're funny, Alex.
I think
you guys
and handsome.
So supportive, aren't they?
Max, seriously, I've seen a lot of funny people in my life and heard a lot of people. Top of my list is like really well-known comedians like Russell Brand, and then Alex.
Equal.
If not
anything.
I love you guys.
Just
I'm such an optimist because I just take this as I'm like, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, so you should, mate.
But still, right? Like it's not going to be the same across the board. So I think potentially there's something in there where I think a company that's starting out, especially like an agency, they need to find out kind of their personality and put their personality out there. But I think try something that can get cut through somehow. I think there has to be like a massive amount of effort in something that's going to get that cut through. And I think that's where a lot of companies don't put that focus. Then they go, cool, so I have an agency and I just start to do some cold calls, right? And I see a lot of agencies that have started out there and they don't actually use marketing to get clients, but they're a marketing agency.
Make sense.
I know, but they go out and because it's expensive to do proper marketing.
Yeah, but then how are you going to? Oh, sorry. Then how do you grow? Blah blah blah. They're telling
sales
you this,
team,
right?
sales team with
right?
a phone book. Oh god, losing their voice. Oh god,
no,
that's hell for me.
Do you know we're in the year 2019, right?
but that actually works. It's just that but then the person that started that actually can make it work is a salesperson, usually, right? So I've seen the agencies that are started by a salesperson. They grow really, really fast because it's sales focused, like immediately. Maybe their service isn't as quality as kind of some of the other stuff,
absolutely,
which we pride ourselves on. But it still works for them, you know.
So is there a hole in the market there where the salesperson will be absolutely fantastic, but then the actual agency can't deliver on?
Oh, that definitely happens very regularly.
That's a lot of them.
Yeah,
it's not the majority, but it's a lot of them.
Yeah, okay.
It's a lot of them.
Yep.
Sorry, Max, to cut you off.
Oh, no, I agree. I think there are a lot of agencies out there where the CEO is a great salesman who definitely started off doing that cold calling stuff. And I think at the end of the day, they're not going to be working with the top brands. They're not going to be able to deliver on that work because I think at their core, they're not.
The sales.
There are a bunch of salespeople that have some people doing delivery. They're not actually marketers. Yeah. Well, they're not actually, within that area that they should be in. But I do feel really sorry for companies that provide Google AdWords that are all trying to get clients through Google AdWords. The CVs, the cost per click on that must be insane.
I know.
So competitive. Oh God.
It is very. It's extremely competitive these days. It's an interesting conversation on on us. If there should be a standard for agencies, if there should be some type of, I don't know,
certification.
I don't know, certifications, maybe code of conduct. I don't know, something. It's because I've seen over the years a lot of dodgy stuff, but it sells, right? And it's changing. I'm seeing like a lot more pretty awesome agencies out there, a lot more than like it was like in the very start. But there's still a lot of shady stuff out there, and there's nothing really that we can do to stop that. I guess that's why the brand is important, I guess I just made a point and asked the question, and that's me trying to be funny. How was that? Was that good?
So good. I'm down.
Can I say it again? Would you like an encore?
That was great.
You can cut that one, Adrian. No, I'm joking. No, you can leave that. You can leave that in.
You know what? If you've got to explain that it's a joke, even better.
It's even better. It's the first rule of
That's how you know it's funny. How else would you know?
I'd be sitting here, right?
I feel like we should have another.
I love it. Absolutely love it. All right. So both you guys, Max, I'm going to go back to you. Something I love on your website, and I'm not going to put you on the spot to ask them if you know them off by heart, but with Hello Social, you've got these 3 things where you talk about your 3 family values. And I really like that from your organisation, and I wouldn't mind looking at that. The first one is turn water into wine.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's that mean for Hello Social?
Fantastic. So turn water in the wine is that And on your first day at Hello Social, you will be walked around to literally there's pillars that hold up the roof, and we've got a painting on them by one of our old staff members who's gone on to have quite a successful career. And he does paintings, and I tell you, this is, we turn water into wine. In an agency, we service our clients, and most of the time our clients are really reasonable and really lovely people, but then every now and again, they're not, and we are there to work for them. And if they call us at 5:30 or 5 o'clock on a Friday and they need this work done and it's reasonable, if a client asks for something reasonable, we should do it. And we are at the behest of our clients. And sometimes we've got to get an ad campaign out, and we've asked for assets from the clients, and they send us these shitty little pictures from a catalog, which our poor graphic designers have to sit there and cut out from the white background so we can actually make this mildly visually appealing for online.
Yeah.
And so we turn water into wine. We take this negative situation and we deliver something awesome for our clients. And so many parts of all of our roles, and I like to say this to everyone, are not glamorous. So many, like from the managing director through to the most junior staff member, so many parts of our job are not glamorous. And we need to take that in our stride and just turn that negativity, like it's a negative thing, say, you know what, this sucks, and that's okay. I'm going to turn water into wine. I'm going to do something good.
Yep, nice. I love it. Now this one, Max, just getting to know you now over this podcast, this is definitely one that you made up.
I made up. Anyway, never mind.
For family's sake.
Ooh, okay. So, we are a small business. We're about 30 staff. We like to think of each other as a family, and so that is doing an action or doing activities or having a mindset that is for the greater good of the company. So, if someone does the dishes, that's a small act, but it's for family's sake. It's for everyone else in the office. If someone works until 10 o'clock at night, getting a campaign off for a big client with a couple of other people, that's for family's sake, because they're doing amazing work to get the recognition for Hello Social and obviously for the client. And conversely, on the other side, when we've had staff that have been a bit selfish, a bit negative, I would say, I don't feel that you're here for the positivity of everyone else. And so you don't really fit our values. And so I'm not sure if we're going to have a role for you here.
Fantastic. I love how you actually put in the same category, either washing a dish or staying back at 10 o'clock at night holds the same value within your organisation. That's a really nice thing, because it just goes to show, there's so many different aspects to a business and what makes it work and what makes it work for a client as well. That's really nice. Your third family value, cheers, mate.
Yep. So this is a really important one when hiring new staff. It is... we would like to hire people that we would like to go to the pub or a cafe with and say, cheers, mate.
One of these.
Let's do one of these.
Cheers, mate.
And it's a concept that, we're going to be working in an office together for 40 and sometimes more hours per week. And if we can work with people that we can get along with, the people we have common values with, it's going to make that time go so much better. You can hire someone who's really amazing at performance ads, but they're a bit rude and they just sit by themselves in the corner and eat their lunch. Like,
for family's sake.
Yeah. Or for
come on,
family's sake, come
cheers,
on, mate.
mate.
It's number two. Like,
exactly.
what happened?
So you want, and then as a result of that, it's then hard to have a good relationship with that person because they're not engaging with you, and therefore when things get tough, can you trust them? When you go around to the battlefield, you look left, you look right. You want to know you got the right people with you. You want to have those solid relationships, and we want to hire people who have strong moral character. If they get it in, they talk negatively. Oh, my old agency sucked. They made me work till 6 o'clock 3 nights a week. Then they're not a person of not necessarily a person we want in the team.
Do you have an induction process to introduce them to these values and what the expectations are?
Yes, we have a new starter checklist, and that is one of the really important points. And then during the first week, which I do myself personally, that checklist, and then I walk up to them during the week and I'm like, sneak up behind them. I'm like, tell me what cheers mate means. You've got 5 seconds. No, I'm joking. No, but we do.
You should try it in a German accent, though.
I should. But we do quiz them on it that week on what the values mean. And then all of our so we have 3 Hello Social awards each month, and one of them is for people who have lived that value. And in our leadership team, every Tuesday morning, 9 a.m., we discuss, okay, Sam, who has stood out to you in the last week as living one of the values? Who are they? What do they do? And why?
Yep. I absolutely love it. And Alex, I know this is something that you've done at Webprofits as well. You have invested so much into a positive, beautiful culture of growth here. And it sounds like you guys are so in alignment of how you do it. And that's why you both got successful businesses.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our values are a bit less fun, but they're extremely real, and they're extremely it kind of like embodies the stuff that's important as well. I think that's.
But do you mind going through your values? Because I personally love them, but yeah.
Yep.
Go for it. Off the top of your head.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Oh, we have 8 values.
Okay.
I don't think I can.
Can I have them in alphabetic order?
No. So we play as a team.
Yep.
Yeah. It's open and no bullshit, and we swore on purpose there just to make it completely completely open,
right?
Yeah. We play as a team, and we play as a team, and so it's about teamwork. It's about actually having fun. It's about being open and transparent, and so that's like a super important one, and kind of having the harder conversations and not trying to hide stuff. And there's 4 more as well, But I think the big one is that, because I used to think of it like a family too, but then I heard this interesting, I think it was a podcast, because how good are podcasts? But it was like this interesting conversation that it's more like a team than a family, where a team, everyone has to really be contributing to the team. With a family, you have unconditional love. It's not unconditional here. And that's what I realized, it's like, and maybe that's a bit more harsh than the family conversation, but I heard it and I was like, actually, that's more in line with what the culture is here.
Yeah,
at
that's
least.
right. It's whatever works for you guys. I mean, and it seems like it's both working really, really well for you. I mean, I'm just gathering people I know people who work at Webprofits love working here. So I'm gathering at Hello Social will be the same thing. Like, you create a really, really cool environment where people feel wanted, and the culture actually figures out whether or not you're going to last or not.
Yes. No, I would love to think that everyone enjoys working there. Yes.
On this podcast, I do.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Hey, just a quick one. Just because I just want to jump quickly to your software startup. Can you just talk about that quickly?
And what's your P&L on it?
Brilliant. So, so I think that service. People who run service companies and people who are marketing for services, I think a lot of them are look at the greener grass that is running a product company and marketing products, and think, Jesus, wouldn't it be easier if I ran a company that sold products? Like, surely that would be like infinitely scalable, right? If I, let's say you were selling, What's a good product? Let's say you have you're the first person who invented protein powder, okay? And it was still 2019, so you could sell on the internet. One would like to think that if you had a good product, you could scale that business quite a lot, because the amount of revenue you do is not necessarily attributable to things that slow a business growth down, which is people. Hiring people is very hard to scale typically. Anyway, so I read a book called The E-Myth, The Myth of the Entrepreneur, and it talked about the importance of systemizing your company. And I had another web development company, and I was a director. And
I think I was a
director. I was a director, and this was years ago.
Yeah.
And
must have been at least 6 years ago.
Like 1, 2, 3. I was a director, and I had a very good relationship with the managing director. And I was like, I really could use this piece of software. And if I could do that, I could really increase the efficiency of Hello Social. And that was our bottleneck was, at the time, working with sort of medium-sized companies, was actually a workflow for getting some of the content approved. We weren't going out and doing photo shoots at that point and high-end production. So it was more, the content was more done with graphic design, and it was higher volume in a sense. And so we created a piece of software that would allow you to show the client what your Facebook and Instagram content would look like in situ, so on Facebook and Instagram, and they could click approve or reject. These were the days when we were using Google spreadsheets that had one column that had the words in it, the copy, and then the other one had an image. And it was just such a bottleneck within the company. So I said, hey mate, can you build me a tool that will just automate this process and automatically schedule the content? It was after we sort of built the absolute embodiment of a minimum viable product, internally, I thought, you know what, I think other agencies would like this. And so in true startup style, I had a landing page, I had a GIF, so an animated GIF that was, writing the post, dropping in an image, and then sending off what it would look like on Facebook, and someone clicking approve or reject. It was like an 8-second GIF, and it just repeated itself. And the landing page had just that GIF, and then create, approve or reject, and then schedule your content. And it had an email, like put your email address here if you're interested, coming soon. And I got I think I posted in a few forums, and it went quite well. I got a few hundred people saying, I want that, this is amazing, give it to me. And so I thought, okay, we should probably go about trying to build this a bit more. Yeah, so that was how the concept started and how the initial company started.
And then where did it go from there? Because obviously you went, I think when we spoke, you were, I think, heading to San Francisco or something at the time. So it obviously went from that point to kind of heading to San Francisco.
Yeah.
So what was that journey? So
I ended up, I was the CEO of that company for 2.5 years in the end. So that, it went in different stages, and we did build the product, and we sort of funded it out of Hello Social, which is the reason I don't have a house. Is
that true?
Possibly. Very, very possibly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That wasn't actually a joke. That was a tear.
Yeah,
actually.
that was a tear. That was that was a real.
Yeah. We can cut that out. I'm joking. So
no, I mean, that's what this is about as well. It's
exactly.
to say it's not all rosy. It's not all, we just won Ubers and we just won all these big campaigns. There's a bit of difficulty in this process,
Just a tad,
Just a tad.
So we built the product up to a certain point, and it was out there. Like eventually, it went live. Eventually, it was something that you could just start using. You could just enter your email address, and you could just set it up yourself. You didn't need the intervention of us to go in and set it up for you, which it did in the early days.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, okay, let's go and get some funding for this to grow it out to what it needed to be. And we basically didn't end up getting funding before our money ran out, essentially. The company, so we had these big expansion plans. We had all these products we were going to build. We're going to, at certain times, we were going to, I think we have rebuilt it like several times, to be honest with you, but we were going to rebuild it again. And it was going to, we were just going to build more and more features and really take it out to the mass market. That's what we're going to do with raising funding. And I don't know, I feel like
how much were you going after? If you're able to share that, I mean, if not, it's fine as well. I think it was like 1 or 2 million or something. Yeah, that's helpful to have. That's helpful to have.
Would have made things easier. And so, we didn't end up getting the funding in the end, and I still ran Hello Social, and I made the decision that for myself, I was going to go back to Hello Social. So I resigned from the company. The company still exists, and it's...
What's the software called? Yeah, let's put it out there.
It's called Rivuu.
Spell it,
Rivuu.
.com or .com.au?
.com.
Yep.
So it still exists. We haven't built the additional features, and it just exists in what it was, which in hindsight, I should have just gone for a minimum viable product without, giving it out to all these clients. And it's like, oh, it'd be great if it had social media analytics inbuilt on it. And I was like, oh, sure, I'll build you an analytics platform on top of the one function this is supposed to have. You look back on these things in hindsight, like, what the fuck did I do that? So, so that was one of the many learnings that I had on that project.
So what was the biggest learning from that project?
I'm not sure what the individual biggest one was, but I think if I had my time again, it is the job in a startup situation. It is the job of the CEO to look after capital raising, and I feel I probably I should have focused more on that. Number one, so that's one of my learnings. The other one is I would continue on the minimum viable product for quite a while. I wouldn't try and change too many features, trying to add too many features. And it's such a hard role being a product, like choosing what a product needs to have. You can stray from your goals, and it was my first time doing that.
And would you do it again, like with another piece of software?
You know, sometimes I consider going back in because it's still around and it's still up and running. It still has customers. It still does its thing. And I always look back and I'm like, but it's such a good business model. Surely it's scalable. Wait, no, Max, no, just focus on the one thing. I myself, where I'm at in my career, having negatively impacted my golden goose so much by doing another company, would just like to stick to doing just one company at a time.
And so what happened, like in terms of that, you know? Yeah.
So basically I was running Hello Social. I was spending less time running the company, and it lost a lot of clients over a while. It lost some clients and it very much shrunk, and I went back into it. And
then when you went back in, it turned around.
Yeah,
Because I remember that time, it was like, oh, cool. Now all of a sudden, all these clients are coming back on and everything's happening again.
Yeah, and this was...
What changed, like actually having you back? Like what was the big difference?
Oh, look, many things. It was several years ago. This is certainly not a recent story.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, having these companies are bloody hard enough to run, doing 60 hours a week, let alone when you're doing 12, you know. And I think that
says it all. That says it all, isn't it? Yeah, interesting. I actually had hired 2 developers here for about 2 years. We almost launched 4 or 5 products.
I thought that F was going somewhere else.
No. Thank God for that. So that's where the stutter's kind of funny. I was like,
I thought it was great.
But yeah, like we never got there, and they kept going into these places of like trying to figure out how to do machine learning. Yeah, so we tried to find a way to build a product that would automatically look at the backlinks of a bunch of competitive sites and identify the ones that were the most quality and show us those ones and actually automate the process of acquiring them.
Automate the process of acquiring them.
So like, so we would basically find the who is information. It would do outreach. It would just do all these parts.
Oh wow!
We got stuck on categorizing links, and anyway, they were basically in there figuring out machine learning algorithms. This is like 5-6 years ago too.
Yeah.
Anyway, it didn't work, surprisingly. But I didn't know how to talk to developers.
Oh, they speak another language.
I couldn't do it. You know, like I can talk to marketers, and I can talk all the way down to the smallest of the tactics or details. But developers were like, the widget's not working. I'm like, we'll fix the widget. Oh yeah, we're fixing it. Okay, cool. Fix it faster, please.
How long will that be? I don't know.
It'd be about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Something comes up, and then
2 months later, where's the widget? Why isn't it fixed? Yeah, so the timeline went out a bit. It's to do with the JavaScript.
And I tried to make a simple analytics dashboard, but then all the APIs were a challenge, and so I didn't know anything about APIs. And so years later, I spoke to a friend of mine, and he's like, "Oh, have you heard of a product manager?" And I was like, well, what's that? Because I keep hearing about them like at eBay, right? Like, it's like, oh yeah, there's all these product managers that keep, kind of handling things. I finally figured it out. I should have listened back in the day, right? And they're the ones
so
that
you were told that advice back then?
Well, so I had a short stint at eBay back in 2004.
Yeah.
Everyone there's a product manager. I'm like, oh, these people do.
Yeah, sure.
And then this is only a few years ago now, I found out that the product manager is the person who communicates between stakeholders and developers.
Yep.
And they can talk to a developer and can get them to do things and can question them and can say, maybe that's not the right way of doing it, and maybe that's a better way of doing it, right?
Yep.
And we don't have that person. It's all just a black box, because the developers also need the product manager to keep them in line, because they're going to go off in different paths and do different things, and then be like, let's rebuild it again. It's like, do we need to rebuild it again, or can we do it like that instead,
Oh, yeah. We call them the developer whisperers.
Developer whisperers. And so that was my journey, but I never actually just got it to launch. But I will do it again. It's just now I know how much it's going to cost, who I need.
You don't need another house.
Yeah, that's a long story too. And just to know the parts where I'm good at and to actually find someone who can actually support the rest, I think I was a bit too optimistic in the software development thing. I thought how hard could it be to build a piece of software? Yep. Pretty hard.
Who knew?
Who knew? I think it's that optimism of entrepreneurs who just have one success and they think they can just have all these other ones, and it's like it's guaranteed, and it's like not guaranteed.
Yeah, you think you're like, well, I'm God's gift because I got this far with this one. Clearly, I'm going to be good at this, and we see it as well. We have a lot of entrepreneurs come to us, and they've built. Look at you add them on LinkedIn. You're like, oh my God, you started that. Fuck yeah, go you. And then they start this new business and it absolutely crumbles. And you're like, oh, okay, great. It is challenging all the time.
And so before, you said something which is something I still struggle on, to focus on the one thing. You said to focus on the one thing is to focus on Hello Social.
Yeah.
That's your thing right now. Is that hard?
It fucking keeps me entertained. I can tell you that much. Well, look, there's I think at the end of the day, you're sitting in an office, you're going to meetings, you're answering emails, you're talking to people. Whether you're doing that for 5 companies or 1, the actions are still sort of the same. So there's different departments where I work, and then I have like a new sort of branch of services that we want to create, and then it's almost like a new company. I'm going to work on. Years ago it was influencer marketing. What's that? And then we built out a team for that, and new systems, new processes, new people, and new clients, and it's almost like a whole new
business within a business.
Yeah.
Can we jump to that quickly?
Yeah, sure.
So with influencer marketing, how effective is that for you and your clients?
So I would say, and that's a good question.
These days as well. Last 12 months, let's say. So
I would say there's, you talk to someone, you say, I do influence marketing, and I think a lot of marketers would say, you mean you get a person to post a picture of them sipping on a tea from your tea company and go, ooh, I love this tea, it makes me feel so happy. And they would sort of look at you with a bit of disdain, like, that is not marketing, you don't know what you're doing. And I would probably agree with them. So what is good influencer marketing, and sort of how has it changed over the last 12 months? It's not about, that's almost sampling. It's almost like just giving someone $400 to post about your brand with, your tea bottle in the background or whatever that is. That's only reaching a few hundred people. That's not really, and people these days, they see through that. And you're kidding yourself if you think they don't. There is amazing ways, innovative ways, which are so much fun, of doing influencer marketing. So, one thing that's actually quite old now is, you have, especially with the bigger marketers, the bigger influencers, like 500,000 plus. It's more of an involved process. You will get a production team, and you'll go and it's more like a content partnership, and then that content can be. Should not only go like going on their social media presence. That's like the tip of the iceberg. That's like 8% of it. The rest of it is, okay, what can we do with that content? It's going in the marketing collateral. We have a pretty large client at the moment, and the influencer content that we've created for them is going on their products around the world. It's going on as a little thing that goes on top of the product. And so
it's just something that's not on the internet.
Something that's not.
I don't know what it's called.
Yes,
what's that thing called?
I don't know. It's made of paper. Who knows? So the content. So that was part of the negotiation with the influencers. Like the content that we create with you, we're supplying the production team, so it's going to be schmick, and you're basically brand ambassadors, and that's going on products around the world. And they're like, oh my God, this is so cool, which it is. And then the content that we create with them, the quality content, then goes out on their social media presences. They would give us advertising access to their social media presences, normally Instagram. And then we are boosting that, for quite a large amount of money, tens of thousands of dollars, to target the target market of our client's customer. So they're not just seeing ads coming at them from the brand. They're seeing, this person that they follow, or maybe they don't follow. Maybe they never heard of them, and they're seeing content from them. So that is one of the sort of innovations, and a way of doing it quite differently. And then that's also content production for the client as well.
So is there a smaller scale version of that? So is there ones like, say for example, if there are, because some organizations at the moment who are listening,
Yep.
and they don't have tens of thousands for a post and a production team to go out. Is there a smaller version? Is there the ones that's between that and the people that are holding up the Windex and saying, I love my Windex? Like, is there something between that?
Yeah.
Or is it they're not? Or is it just too
No.
hard these days at like the smaller levels?
I think it is. I think there's definitely a lot of innovation that you can have with the smaller brands as well. I think we've got some local businesses, like let's say a chain of like 5 or 6 businesses, and then we'd send people there, and then all of a sudden, what influencers are really good for is making something seem cool. It's that social proof.
Mm-hmm.
So someone's only got like 5,000-10,000 followers, and they go and let's say it was a local burger place, and they take really amazing photos with that burger that is probably sometimes better than has ever been done for that burger place or any of their burgers they've ever produced before, and then that's a really interesting piece of photography for that goes out to their followers, and then again that brand can who might have paid that person $100, $150 and a free meal, so like
It's pretty good for the influencer too.
yeah. So it goes out to their following, and then it also is content. It's actually like content production as well. So it's also your content budget as well as also reaching other people and getting a really new take on what it is that you're doing.
And that's a shift, isn't it? It's actually it's actually a content production play with an influencer promotion piece.
Exactly. And how much is a photo shoot? Like a photo shoot's not cheap. Whereas let's say you've got $2,000 for a photo shoot for your 5 chicken burger places. Got to do $2,500. Food photographers are not cheap. Spend the $2,500 on, influencers, $150 each. That's 8-ish influencers, and then you've got eight amazing pieces of content.
I like it,
That's
gentlemen.
great.
What I like hearing here that you both agree upon a lot of things, and it sounds like although you've got your own organisations, your own companies, you are in a sense competition to each other. But I think you could work collaboratively as well. Here you go. This is what I'm going to do. This is the challenge here. In 2 minutes, you guys are both going to work out. There's a new brand of butter coming out. Haven't got a name for it yet. You guys are about to name it.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Beautiful. And now you're going to come with a strategy on how you're going to pump it out. There you go.
What do you mean? Like, how do you want us to do this?
Just start talking.
So I wouldn't be able to have come up with a name.
That's what
great.
Max did. Well done.
That's not my area.
That's
at
an
all.
existing
Oh, is it?
name. Yep. Or
It is.
maybe it's a tagline.
It's a
for their name.
tagline. I
It's
can't
a
believe it's
tagline.
not butter.
Can't
For
believe
which?
it's not butter.
For which brand?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. That's it. You
He's
guys-
writing it down.
I
So,
can't believe it's not butter. Yeah.
well, I think that's trademarked.
Yeah, probably.
How are we going to get this out there?
I want to go down the influencer path now on like something funny.
Okay.
Like if I'm working now with Max, right?
you
And if we're working together,
Yeah.
and then I want the funny content that I can like promote like crazy across
Okay.
every channel. Yeah. So what would you do? And I want to put you on the spot now from a content perspective. So what's something funny that we can do with butter?
All right, I'm gonna do like stupid things stupid things you can do with butter challenge. So like we're all using it for food, right? But it could also be used for other things like
Greasing up
greasing
bearings.
up. Yes, thank you. Greasing
Yes.
up the bearings. Yeah, that's where I was going with this. So it could be used for greasing up berries. So we could have like a what else you could use butter for challenge, right? And then we actually seed it with like 10 quite big influencers, and we actually go and film it with them, and then we get them to launch, hey, I just did the what I can do with butter challenge, and we film it, and we do come up with some really interesting ideas. It could be playing pranks on people, butting up the floor when they walk out. So we don't get sued.
I like the one where you go underneath the car handle, the door. Yeah.
Oh, we've all done that. Oh, mate, how good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. We could
You
do.
two are trouble. That's what I
Yeah.
can say. I've never done that.
Now, Alex, you come into this as well. So Max, you've got some great. Now, what do we do, Alex? We've got the concept. We know what we're going to do with. What are you going to do for us?
Oh, well, first of all, I like to retarget everybody that comes to to the influencers page. I want to scale up their ads exactly like, what Max said before about
Max said.
No, about what Max said before about actually advertising to their audiences.
Cool, got it.
Yeah. I want to capture their emails. That's my number one thing. Yeah, like I want to try to capture their emails and find a way to get them to go in store and to choose it. Yeah, so to make maybe some competition.
Yep.
That there's one person that who buys his butter in this month that's going to get something fantastic, like a holiday to Mykonos or something like that, right? Yep. Now, people are going to probably go
Max
out
is nodding. You guys are working well on this project. Yep. Go on.
That's about as far as it goes right now because it's FMCG. Yep. FMCG is like notoriously difficult to track back to a sale. Yeah, there's some programmatic campaigns we could run to mothers or to people that are going to be there purchasing at that time, right?
Yep.
It's not the most exciting stuff. The campaign ideas sound way more sexy. Yep. Yeah, but like we'll just smother the internet. With anyone who buys butter, we'll see these campaigns, we'll be part of it, and we'll be leveraging that content to really try to push them in store. Probably have to come up with some really advanced ways to track store traffic and to really make sure that we can kind of integrate with some of this FMCG kind of the targeting stuff. Let's say, for example, we can do programmatic campaigns that target people who buy butter. And we can advertise this to them, right? Yep. That's like one thing we could do,
Yep.
And lots of those scaling strategies.
Cool. Max, anything else on that? So far, I'm liking the product.
Yes. I would say, besides my, no pun intended, cooked idea.
You are the funny one. But also, just so you know as well, he does stand-up.
Oh, really?
He does stand-up.
You
Can
got
I
a job
use that
for me?
line?
Yeah, you can. It's fine as long as you credit me at the end. Like we're all gravy.
Yeah.
So I would have to link it back in like a positive way to the brand. You can't have an idea that doesn't link back positively, and it would be something like, use butter the right way.
Yep.
And then I think in the FMCG land, it's really about reach and frequency. People don't necessarily have to always engage with the product, but like they have seen it. Actually, the technical term is a fuck ton of times for them to actually want to go in and make that purchase.
Can I just put one in? I know I'm not in the realm of marketing. Okay, like I'm a simple
I'm a
person.
specialist.
I know.
Especially for butter marketing.
But
That's my new keyword I'm going to rank for on Google.
What I reckon, what I've got
butter marketing.
Butter marketing.
You got the butter, the funny stuff. You've gone targeting mums and that. What about a campaign where mums do practical jokes on their kids around butter?
How good.
Yeah. And make that. See how
that could go up against like the cat memes almost.
Almost. Yeah, I mean, but it works.
Almost.
It works, right?
And there's other stuff that's a bit less exciting around the recipes, around kind of, you can get people to use that butter in like a cooking thing. There's stuff. But generally we're not the butter specialists. And
This is true. I found out literally today what the difference between butter and margarine is.
What is it?
Oh, really?
So needless to say, this is not my area of expertise.
What is it?
But according to a person who's nicknamed Plant Mama, I'm not even kidding, she said margarine comes from plants, and she would know, she's the plant mama.
Yeah.
And butter comes from animals.
Oh.
Yep.
Is margarine from olive oil? No, that's something different.
No, it can be canola oil.
It can be
any
it's
of that
any
kind of
oil,
stuff.
right?
Yeah. Anything from a plant. Gentlemen, it has been very, very entertaining having both of you on today. Alex, this is your show, so it's great to have you on your own show. It's bloody brilliant, I'll tell you
Thanks,
what.
mate.
Yeah, it
really
is.
appreciate it.
Max, you have been absolutely funny, fantastic, and inspiring. Thank you for being so honest, beautiful, vulnerable, and informative for everybody. Max, just one quick question for you. Best bit of advice you could ever give anybody starting their own company?
There's a quote by a man significantly smarter than I am, and his quote was, be persistent, be persistent, be persistent. If success was easy, or if business was easy, everyone would be doing it. And my key to success in my life was being consistent, which is different from stubborn. I would say be persistent.
Yeah, persistence is everything. I think I'm certainly not the smartest person. Yeah, that part I know for sure. There's way more smart people out there.
Like Max, seriously,
no.
when it comes to smart.
But persistent, and stubborn towards my persistence. Like it would just there is no other way. And I think that has to be the approach, right? Because it's going to be hard forever. Yeah, but it's going to be different. It's going to get a lot better, you know, but it's still going to be difficult. Like I'm sure these days, it's not like it was in the beginning, but it's still hard a lot of the time.
Oh, yes, it's hard in a very different way.
A very different way. It's a more fun hard.
Look, I think
It is, and it's almost like a less hard in a sense. Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much.
I'm really
Thank
happy.
you so much.
I'm so glad that we've
right?
Fist bump. I know. Bam.
You guys are awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tony.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Max. Thanks for listening to the Growth Manifesto podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please head on over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. For more episodes, please visit growthmanifesto.com/podcast.